Sophie Wessex, why she's the Queen's favorite, how they became the royal rock of the family. Harry and Meghan were humiliated again when they spoke out. Another desperate attempt by Harry and his wife to remain relevant in a world that has moved on without them. They are unable to conceive that no one cares what they think about anything. It is, in fact, insulting to people who are truly suffering for these two to be constantly trying to make everything about them. Pretentious, out of touch, a patronizing statement from the fake, self-absorbed, conceited, narcissistic pair who ordained themselves to be the world leader, pretending to be the most important change makers of our time. Harry served with the army and was listed on a tour of duty to serve in Afghanistan. According to reports, he felt that his time there was useful and he made friends, true friends there. The media leaked his presence there, placing his comrades in even more danger, as he would be seen as a major coup either if he was captured or killed. Once his location had been made publicly known, his tour of duty was cut short. Prince Harry is reported to have been very upset at this turn of events and added that to the increasing security, the number of points against the media. This father, after Prince Harry has been recalled, reported in an interview that as of a parent, he was glad that Harry was now safely away from the front lines, and he understood the fears of many parents in a similar situation. To Harry, this appears to confirm that his father had interfered in his posting. So was another point against his father. How much both of these reports influenced Harry is hard to say. The Ministry of Defense responsible for assignments would have taken into account the increased danger to the deployed soldiers on the front line, and especially those in Harry's squad, as they would be facing a far higher risk than other soldiers due to the propaganda value that Harry had. Harry may feel a link with the forces in Afghanistan as he has served there in that conflict. So adding his views and their support could be seen just like that, acknowledging from the first-hand experience the dangers that soldiers have faced and are facing. A cynical observer may believe that Meghan and Harry were creating a media opportunity to get their names in the media's attention. My personal view is that Harry may genuinely wish to voice his views and support for the troops deployed in Afghanistan. Some media reports that I've seen are critical of the phrasing used in the announcement, as though it is more of a political announcement to gain publicity rather than in support of the soldiers on the front line. I view the statement that is on the Archwell website right now, and the press comments are usually quite emotive to gain the reader's attention. The Afghan situation is a very small part of the overall statement. My impression is that it's a statement put out by the people trying to claim some importance on the world stage. They're concerned about globe matters and are trying to influence others to be concerned as well. I'm certain that their level of influence in the world matches the level they think it has. On the other hand, yes, Afghanistan is interesting. Perhaps Harry can tell the truth of his time there, surrounded 24/7 by bodyguards until his presence there was made known publicly. Only at that point did Afghanistan become dangerous for him, which is an interesting bit. What really happened there? Because coincidentally, he left there within a day or so of his presence being accidentally leaked. It's unclear whether he paid a farewell visit to his favorite workers before he hightailed it back to the safety of his granny's castle into the far more interesting Ugandan activities on the busy London social scene. Remember, the red-blooded "just call me Harry" has a low boredom threshold. So whether the leak as to his presence was purposely engineered is worth considering. Maybe Harry had maxed out playing FIFA or Call of Duty. Maybe he was bored playing cards surrounded by his mix. And maybe he'd sulked after they stopped letting him win because they got bored with him first. Maybe his fellow officers were fed up watching his special treatment. Maybe the sex workers were fed up with his strenuous demands. And then we see a pattern. Because this just keeps happening with Harry, does it not? Like the inexplicable and absurdly fabricated Africa outbursts which came from nowhere but conveniently justified and facilitated Harry's escape to Hollywood for fame, fortune, and adulation with Meghan. Maybe Meghan gets what Meghan wants is more of a case of Harry gets what Harry wants when Harry gets bored. Maybe he's not so dim. That's a lot of maybes, so I could be wrong, but maybe not. Meanwhile, speaking to the BBC in an emotional interview in June, the Countess of Wessex struggled to hold back her tears as she remembered her father-in-law, Prince Philip, whose death left a giant-sized hole in the royal family. It's only when you do normal things that you would have done with them and you suddenly realize they're not here, and that you really start to have an "oh my goodness" moment, the 56-year-old reflected. Sophie, who has been married to Prince Edward for 22 years, is one of the only members of the royal family who has publicly showed their emotions after losing the Duke of Edinburgh in April. And now, more than ever, the spotlight has been well and truly focused on the mother of two, said to have been a pillar of strength and support for Her Majesty since her husband's passing in the months following Megxit. Sophie has been a firm favorite of the Queen for some time, royal expert Phil Dampier tells Royals Monthly. And she's even closer to Her Majesty now after the death of Prince Philip. She visits her mother-in-law quite regularly and is always there for her. According to fellow royal commentator Duncan Larcombe, Sophie has emerged as the Queen's unlikely rock during a time of chaos and grief. Since the Duke's death in April, Sophie has driven the 10 miles or 17 kilometers from her Bagshot Park home to Windsor Castle every few days and most weekends, Duncan told The Sun. And on the days that she can't get there in person, the Countess of Wessex has made a point of calling her mother-in-law at least once a day. A palace insider tells us, lately Sophie has been the go-to for various personal matters as well as a sounding board for certain decisions about the monarchy, which she's perfect for since she's impartial and has no real agenda or issues with the likes of the Sussexes or the Yorks. She's also incredibly understated and hardworking, albeit beneath the radar. Sophie definitely cherishes every moment that she gets with the Queen. She's never let her down. Unlike the other wives of senior royals, Sophie was not given the title of Duchess following Prince Edward's decision to take a different royal title upon their marriage. He was famously so enamored by the character Lord Wessex from the 1998 movie Shakespeare in Love that he asked for the same title, and his mother generously agreed. Earlier this year, it was revealed that Sophie and Edward would now be stepping up their quota of royal duties to fill the void left by the exit of Prince Harry and Meghan. Speaking to the Telegraph magazine, the couple admitted that they were flattered to finally be emerging from the shadows, even though Sophie has already been one of the hardest working royals during the coronavirus pandemic. From her efforts volunteering to help prepare meals for NHS staff to putting together care packages for the homeless, the royal family's official Twitter account has provided regular updates about her tireless zeal for good causes. The Countess of Wessex is also a patron of more than 70 organizations and carries out in the region of 240 official royal engagements each year. I expect to see Sophie take on more royal duties and several of Philip's patronages, Phil adds. She's already had quite a workload, but now the public are starting to appreciate her more and realize what a valuable asset she is to the royal family. She's now seen as a safe pair of hands, a not-so-secret weapon. Sophie has brought out the best in Prince Edward. They're devoted parents and have two lovely children, who could also have bright royal futures. Meanwhile, as tensions between the Cambridges and the Sussexes continue to boil over, palace insiders say that Sophie had actually offered to help Meghan navigate her way in the firm, only to be rejected. I've been told that Kate and the Countess of Wessex both repeatedly reached out to the Duchess of Sussex, particularly after she voiced her unhappiness on a television documentary. Royal commentator Rebecca English previously tweeted, but they were both rebuffed. Now, with Harry and Meghan off the scene and Prince Andrew sidelined, the Wessex family have a big role to play in shaping the future of the monarchy. And while Sophie is only now finally gaining the recognition and higher profile she deserves after quietly working in the background for years, she herself doesn't see it that way. As she herself joked to the Telegraph about her new workload, "What did people think we were doing beforehand?"